into the chat and just introduce yourself and just send a message and just say, hey, I'm here, and who you are and what your business does. That'd be great. So if you could just jump in the chat and just let me know that you're here, and we'll kick off in 30 seconds. But yeah, so we're going to be talking about Google Analytics today. This is a super useful resource that you can use for your business and your website to get a better understanding of data, get a better understanding and get some data out of your website and see, where the traffic's coming from and where you can improve and where you're doing well. So if you could just jump in the chat just to let me know that you can all hear me, that would be great. I'll just adjust my camera slightly. Can anyone hear me? Can anyone hear me? Just going to put my phone on silent so we don't have to hear that. Katrina can hear me. Dominica can hear me. Gary can hear me. Awesome. Gary is from Vanilla and he's a web developer. Janine can hear me. And what do you do? What do your businesses do? People that are commenting. Gay's here. We've got about 8 people here. If you just want to chuck in the chat what it is your business does, you can give yourself a free plug. Maybe people can buy something from you if they need you. All right. I think I'll get going. So as I said at the start, we're talking about getting going on Google Analytics today. So I'm going to take you through what Google Analytics is and how to set it up and what you can get out of it for your business. And my name is Brett Melville. So this workshop today is part of the ASBAS Digital Solutions Program. We're a digital advisory service providing direct education and mentorship from digital experts around Australia to assist small businesses to help build out their digital capabilities. As part of this program, you might have noticed that businesses can access a range of workshops, some webinars and some online materials, and up to 4 hours of additional paid mentoring. The mentoring is $25 for 2 hours, and it's subject to availability. So if you think you need some mentoring from any of these workshops that you've sat in on, or maybe watched the recordings from, request a mentoring session from that person, perhaps, and do that through the ASBAS team. So that's ASBAS at melbourneinnovation.com.au. ASBAS at melbourneinnovation.com.au. Francisco's here from Melbourne Innovation Centre. Francisco, do you want to just drop that email address into the chat so everyone can see that? As part of today's webinar, we just asked that all participants complete a survey. So Francisco will also drop the link to that in the chat, and we'll do that again at the end. That way, Francisco doesn't have to follow you up. But we really need everybody's survey results from what you thought of this webinar. I can see a few people have commented in the chat who they are and what they do. So we've got Katrina is from camino.com.au, which has handmade Italian leather flat shoes. Janine is a travel agent. Dominica Pirego, I've probably butchered the pronunciation of that for sure, .com. Janine is janinebubtravel.com.au. Ashish sells sustainable and eco-friendly tableware at Soul Life. And Martine is from Chavmois, Australia. I create crochet and knit headwear, apparel and accessories. Gay is in startup phase for growing native foods. And Dominica has polished dumplings, and I have completely ruined the pronunciation, judging by you laughing at me, but that's okay. All right, so my name is Brett Melville, and I'm the owner of digital marketing agency Digital Treasury. We specialize in website design, search engine optimization, and digital marketing consultations. So we are very passionate about making sure that our customers' websites are really well designed, not only really well designed, but clearly and quickly communicate to people and consumers that are browsing their website who they are and what they can actually do for that consumer. And then we are of the opinion that search engine optimization or organic traffic that you can get from Google is some of the highest return on investment traffic that you can have for your business. So we not only build our clients' websites, but then we also rank them in Google to come up for keywords that potential customers might be searching for around their product names and around their service names. If you want to stay in touch with the content that I put out, you're best to follow me on LinkedIn. I'm putting out content on LinkedIn around website design and around search engine optimization fairly regularly. I've worked for companies like Australia Post, Orica, NAB, QBox, Springbank Council, City of Whittlesea, Melbourne Innovation Centre, and a few others. And I am actually one of the mentors for this program, for the program in Victoria, that is. So if you need help on your website designing, search engine optimization, or some sort of general high-level digital marketing, feel free to book a session with me, and I'll help you out as much as I can in a 2-hour session. So just for today's format, just note that there'll be no replay, I believe. Is that true, Francisco, for this one? I think it is true because they want you to ask as many questions as you want. So I'm going to be stopping and starting a little bit and going to the questions in the chat that people have around the different sections. I'm going to be asking you if there's any questions on anything I've said. And so definitely don't feel embarrassed and just jump in and ask any questions that you have of anything we're talking about. Francisco, can you just confirm that it is no replay? I'm not sure that it's true this time. Francisco will confirm that for us. In today's training, we're going to try and be even more practical than usual. So I'm going to go through the steps and I'm going to show you as I'm talking how to actually implement these tasks within Google Analytics. So hopefully that way it's a little bit more over the shoulder training, so it's a bit easier for some people to learn and follow along with what we're doing. So we're going to show you how to install Google Analytics, and then we're going to demonstrate to you how we actually use Google Analytics once we've got that set up. But before we get started, I just want to do a little bit of a quick quiz with the people that are in. We've got 11 people, which is great in our workshop today. Where are you at with your website in terms of your business website? So, and what platform is that website on? So are you a number one? You don't have a website yet, and you just sort of doing this today as part of your planning to understand what you need to have for your website to be up and running. Maybe you've got a WordPress website, maybe you've got a Shopify website, maybe you've got a Squarespace website, maybe you've got a Wix website. If you've got a website on a different platform to these, maybe just write that in the comments. But if 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5 apply to you, can you please put that in the chat now? Okay, Melinda's on Wix, that's good. Martin's on WordPress. We've got some more, 2 and 3. Dominique is on WordPress and Shopify. Started on Wix. We've got lots of 2s. Okay, so mainly Wix, Shopify, and WordPress. Carla's on Weebly, very similar, Carla. I think that's everyone. So, yeah, majority of people have got a WordPress, Shopify, Wix, no Squarespace today, which is good. And Carla's got a Weebly site. So Gay's only got a web address. She hasn't started building her site yet. That's completely fine, Gay. Okay, so it's good to know. So we're going to talk about WordPress, Shopify, and Wix. And I'll show you, Carla, how you can get the instructions for figuring out how to install Google Analytics with your Weebly site as well. So as I mentioned up the front, what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about the setup or creating that Google Analytics account. We're going to find the Google Analytics code within your account, and then we're going to show you how to add it to your WordPress, Wix, Squarespace, or Shopify website. Once that to test that link is working, that you're getting the data into your Google Analytics account correctly, I'm going to show you how to test that. And then we're going to go through some background information on Google Analytics, what it is, what are the benefits, some of the useful data that you can get out of it, how you can interpret it, how you can create your own customized dashboards. And then we're going to look through audiences, we're going to look through real-time reports, and we're going to just show you through all the different aspects of Google Analytics that are useful for businesses to have to get data on their website. So setting up your Google Analytics is free. It's a free tool provided by Google, but it does require you to have a Google Analytics account, and it requires you to add that code from your Google Analytics account to your website so Google can start tracking your website and getting data for you. So I'm going to show you how to do that step by step today. Carla said, I've already have analytics installed. Does anyone not have analytics installed? If you could just comment now, that it would be great. So in terms of the setup process, first of all, we need to get a Google account. Second step is we need to add that, add to your website the Google Analytics code. And we can do that by getting the tracking code from your analytics account and adding it into your website. So first step is you need to go to analytics.com.au. So analytics, I'll just type that in the chat just in case anyone's trying to follow that along, analytics.google.com. And then it's going to ask you to, I think it says like start now or manage. There's a big blue button on the right-hand side. And when you click that, it'll ask you to sign in with a Google account. Now you'll need either a free Gmail or a G Suite account. And if you don't have one, you can just create one. Sometimes people want to create a separate one if they've got different businesses, so they want to have separate ones for separate Google accounts. It doesn't really matter. You can have multiple websites within one Google account. If you're sort of not sure about Gmail or G Suite and which one to go with, I just put down a few differences here for you so you can work out which one you want to go with. So for my business, I actually use G Suite. That costs me $8.40 per month per user. But what it allows me to do is it allows me to, Dominica has asked, sorry for a silly question, but by code, do you mean pixel? So code is the script that Google Analytics needs us to add to their website. Pixel is a little bit different, but it is another method of tracking code that things like Facebook ads use. So they're very similar things, Dominica. So in terms of G Suite, I was just mentioning that my business, I used the paid G Suite account, and it allows me to have that email at my own domain. So, it's brett@digitaltreasury.com.au. The benefits of G Suite is it gives you unlimited storage on the G Drive application, and it also gives you access to, as well as the apps that come with Gmail, it gives you access to a few other apps as well. Although Calendar is on Gmail as well, so I'm not sure why I put that there. But Gmail on the other side is free. It gives you 15 gig of cloud storage, which is going to be plenty for most businesses, and it gives you access to all the basic apps like Google Drive, Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides. And it'll do most of what you need, but it does require you to use the @Gmail extension. So it could be like Brett Melville @Gmail or digitaltreasury@gmail.com. So it does sort of peg you into that. It pegs you into that Gmail server, but you don't have to use this for your email as well. You can use your normal email hosting. So I guess when I look at normal email hosting, which tends to be sort of $3 to $5 a month, and then you pay $8.40 for G Suite, which comes with a whole raft of other applications as well. I think it's really good value for most businesses to do that. Janine has asked, can you switch from Gmail to G Suite? I believe you can, Janine. If I was you, I would be searching for like how to migrate. I'll just type that in the chat for you, but how to migrate from Gmail to G Suite. I can't remember exactly. I did it for myself about 3 years ago, but I do believe there is a way, and I'm pretty sure I did it for myself, of you basically want to be moving the emails, I'm guessing, Janine. So there is a way of migrating emails and contacts as well from Gmail to G Suite. So I would Google search how to migrate from Gmail to G Suite, and I'm sure you'll be able to find instructions or some sort of video on how to execute that process. So the reason I'm going through Gmail versus G Suite is because you will need either to use and start creating your Google Analytics codes. So in terms of setting up, once you've got your Gmail account, you need to go into the administration area. So once you've logged into Google Analytics, there should be nothing there yet. So what you need to do is you need to go to the admins and the settings area. You need to go to admin and you need to create an account, and that account will be for your business name. And then you need to create the property or the actual website URL. To start collecting that data within Google Analytics. Martine has asked, I thought I had previously had Google Analytics on my website, but it seems to only be Monster Insights. Monster Insights, I think, is a plugin within WordPress, Martine. So I'm not exact. I thought that you had to connect that up to Google Analytics to get the insights. But anyway, I think you may have it, but maybe just check your settings within Monster Insights within your WordPress. All right, so what I'm talking about in terms of this setting up and creating the property is when you come into Google Analytics, it'll be a screen like this. On the bottom left, there's a cog, which is takes you to the settings or the admin area of Google Analytics. What you're going to do is you're going to click on create an account, and then once that account's created, you're going to click create property, and then you're going to grab the tracking code for that property. So I might would it be useful if I showed you how to do this step by step, or does that make sense? Just write in the chat yes if you want me to show you how to create the account and create the property. I can jump into Google Analytics easily and do that if you'd like. Or do you want me to move on to the next piece? Yes, so Gary wants to do that. That's fine. All right, so I'm just going to switch screens now, and I'm going to jump into my Google Analytics. So I've logged in to analytics.google.com. Again, I'll just put that link in the chat just in case. And then what you do is you come down to admin here, and I've got all these different accounts with all my different clients. So you want to create an account, and I just click on that blue button, and the new account's going to be, I'm going to call that Digital Treasury, and I'm just going to write test so I know just for me. I'm going to leave all those ticked. I'm going to click next. The property name, I'm going to call that Digital. Again, I'm just going to use test just so I know that it's like a dummy within my account. I'm going to change the reporting time zone to Australia. Where is he? AUST. Australia, there it is, not Austria. I'm going to change that to Melbourne time because I'm in Melbourne. Martine has said, I'm not sure what you meant, Brett. So in Monster Analytics, Monster Insights, I believe, is a plugin within WordPress which can give you data around your visitors. I haven't used it in about 10 years, but I believe that actually is linked to your Google Analytics account. So I wouldn't be surprised if you had Google Analytics set up, Martine. I'm going to just change the currency here to Australian dollars, and then I'm going to hit next here. My business size, I can select an industry if I want. So I can say businesses and industrial, and I'm going to say small business 1 to 10, and I'm just going to click create. So then again, I'm going to change this to Australia in terms of the service agreement, and I'm going to accept these here, and then that's going to set up that property for digital treasury test. I'm going to, okay, so what I've accidentally done there, I've set up, and I didn't want to do this. I'm going to trash can that. This is good. You can learn from my mistakes. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to create an account again. I'm just going to put test, property setup. What you want to do, because Google Analytics has recently changed. So you want to actually, in the property setup, click show advanced and create universal property. And that's going to create, this is super confusing, but this is going to create, Google Analytics has just moved to Google Analytics 4, and you want to actually keep the old way of Google Analytics. Or do we? Because they've changed. This has changed in the last couple of weeks to so instead of tracking code, it's now data streams. So if I put in my website here, digitaltreasury.com.au, okay, so it's just slightly different. We want to measure, that's digital treasury test, and then it's create stream, and then this is going to give me the access to the code we need to put onto your website. Okay. So I've now got my stream. There's a measurement ID, so sometimes you need the ID. And sometimes you need to put on this script. So basically, in order for Google Analytics to start capturing data, we need to copy this code from here, or this ID from here, and we need to put this on your website. So I'll just jump back into, so it used to be in the old version of Google Analytics, which was only like 2 or 3 weeks ago, it had asked you to get a tracking code, but that tracking code is now called data stream. So basically there's 3 ways to add the code to your website. You can use the tracking ID, you can use the global site tag, or you can use Google Tag Manager. I'd suggest the easiest way for most people is going to be to use the tracking ID. Dominique has asked, I'm not sure if I have the code or not, so should I create a view if the account is already set up? Dominique, if the account is already set up, so for example, if I go, I'll show you one like my account that's already set up. If you've already got that account set up, Dominica, hopefully you've got a property. Can you tell me if you've got a property, if you can see property in here? If you don't have a property, click on create property, and it'll ask you some steps, and it'll basically tell you to put in your website URL. So, like digitaltreasury.com.au. So you can already see that property. Can you go down to tracking info and then tracking code in that property column? And then it should bring out these 3 areas that I was talking about. So the tracking ID, or the site tag. And then it also has Tag Manager as well. But Tag Manager, so you do have the property. So could you find the tracking info and the tracking code, Dominica? If you can just type in the chat, Dominica, if you could, can you see a tracking info? She's got it. Okay, great. So Dominica, you're gonna need to copy either this tracking ID, so just highlight it, right click copy, or the site tag here. Martine's asked, would I go through the same process to check if I have it? Yes. So Martine, like with your Gmail or G Suite account that you have, log into your Google Analytics account, come down to the settings in the admin settings, and then check if you've got an account already set up, which I suspect you might, and then check if there's a property set up, which I suspect there might again, and then come down to that tracking code area like Martine did. Okay, so I'll just jump back to the slides. So with those two pieces of information, either the tracking ID or the global site tag, the next step is to then add that into your website so that Google Analytics can start collecting that data. So there's many ways you can add. You should be able to add that tag to any type of website that you have. So when I typed in how to add Google Analytics, even Google's auto suggest was showing me, ways to add it to Shopify, GoDaddy, WordPress, website, Squarespace, Wix, Tag Manager, Tracking Code, Weebly, right? So there's lots of different ways you can do it, and you can, there's lots of information on how to do this step by step on the different platforms. I can't go through all of them, obviously, but yeah, just sort of if you keep looking around for different tutorials, keep watching different videos on people doing it, and hopefully you can sort of pick up how they're copying that code or the tracking ID and they're adding it into their website. So I think one person had a Shopify website. So for Shopify, and these slides are being sent to you, by the way. So if you don't sort of get to write this down, feel free to. You can go back through the replay later, the slides later on. So if you've got a Shopify website, go to the online store in the preferences area, and there should be a selection that says Google Analytics. And then you need to jump back into your Google Analytics account. So let's do that quickly now. And then you need to copy this tracking ID. So copy that to your clipboard. And then so it'd be like UA and then dash and then a whole lot of numbers and letters and then dash and another number, and then click save on that. Within Google Analytics, then there's an enhanced e-commerce section which will give you more data. So in Shopify, if anyone makes a sale, that data will come straight into Shopify. So check that box as well within Google Analytics and save that. And then also within Google Analytics, within the e-commerce settings, there's an enable enhanced e-commerce reporting. Also go and turn that on as well. So that's how you set up with Shopify. In terms of Wixie, I think someone had Wix. You need to go to the marketing integration section. Go to Google Analytics and click on Connect. At the top right, click Connect Google Analytics, and it should let you paste in that same ID that we talked about. You need to select the IP anonymization checkbox to ensure Google does not save your visitors' IP addresses. If that's, I don't know if it does that anymore though, actually. In terms of Squarespace, I don't think anyone had Squarespace, so I'm going to skip over this one today. In terms of WordPress, there's a plugin. There's quite a few different plugins that allow you to put the tracking code or the site tag manager on them. There's one called Insert Header and Footers. So if you are in the dashboard of your WordPress website, if you go to Add Plugin and you search for Insert Header and Footers, that's the name of the plugin. And if you install that and then activate that plugin, and if you go to that plugin, it'll say, I think it has an area saying Google Analytics tracking code. Oh, sorry, no, that's in the that's in Google Analytics. So instead of using, I'll just go back. Instead of using the tracking ID for this one, what it wants you to do is it wants you to grab the global site tag and copy that. So copy that to a clipboard, and then in settings within your WordPress dashboard, find insert and headers and footers, sorry, which is the plugin we just installed. Find the scripts in header area and paste that code, and then click save. Gay has asked, can analytics be added to Facebook business page? I don't think so, Gay. So this is for collecting data for your website, but Google Analytics will be able to tell you if traffic has come from Facebook or come from Instagram or other social media accounts that you have in the acquisition phase. So then once you've done that, and once you've published that page or saved that page, that code should now be attached and live on your website, and Google can start tracking you. But you want to make sure that once you've done that step that it's actually working. So the way you can do that is you can actually go to real time. And what real time will do is it'll show you real time if people are on your website. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you. So I'll jump into my, so I'm just in my Digital Treasury account. Okay, so we've got real time here. So if I just find a Digital Treasury, if I just find a page, so if I go SEO Australia, Digital Treasury, and I just click on, I've actually got a guide if anyone's interested on how to rank your website. And if I jump on this page and I'm scrolling in it, it should hopefully in real time. Yeah, so we can see now in real time, right now, there's one active user on my website. So I can see that the active page is SEO Australia, which is this page I'm on here, SEO-Australia, and it's verifying that data's coming through. So if people search for SEO Australia and click on the Digital Treasury page right now, they're going to start coming through and showing as active now as well. So does anyone want to jump on my website and see themselves in the live chat here? That'll be exciting, won't it? I'll just make that a little bit bigger for everybody. So you can see there's the one user on the site, which is me, and you can see that the active page as well. So that should drop off in a second, I think. So it's also showing my location. So I'm in Melbourne. So if other people start jumping on my website now, we can see some more data coming through. Dominique has asked, so if I want to add the Google Analytics to my WordPress website, I don't need the tracking code, but something else. So there is ways of adding just the tracking code in WordPress, just to confuse you even further. But with that plugin and that method that I described to you and other Google Analytics verifying plugins, they ask you to copy and paste that. Okay, so I can see 3 people are now on my homepage. So yeah, so some of you have jumped onto my website now, and I can see you're active. So what I'm doing by coming into this real-time section on the left-hand side, which is the clock icon, is I can see that the connection has worked between my tracking code and my Google Analytics account. So I'm starting to collect data that I can then start using and interpreting for my business. Martine says, I'm already linked, but only seem to access it via the Google Analytics site. Do you mean you can only access the data, or what do you mean, Martine? Do you want to just explain that again? Janine has said, when I check my plugins on my WordPress website, it says I have the Site Kit by Google. Yeah, that's fine. So that's another plugin that allows you to verify. So yeah, I can see half of you are on my website at the moment. So yeah, we can definitely see that my analytics is working, and this is the method you need to use to test to see that your analytics is set up. So is there any other questions on the setup? before I jump into what Google Analytics is? Has anyone been following this and doing this as I've been talking? Did you have any questions? Are we all comfortable at setting up our Google Analytics now? Can't see any questions yet, but keep typing, and I'll keep talking, and I'll come back to any questions that you write in the chat. So now we've got Google Analytics set up. What is it? How are we going to use this to improve our businesses and improve our lives? So Google Analytics is a free web-based analytics service which gives you in-depth data about visitors to your website. So it's not just visitors from Google, it's visitors from anywhere. And it can provide you valuable insights to help improve your business and get better results and get more customers to actually convert from your website. So instead of just having all this traffic come in, getting them to convert into actual leads for your business. Martin says, Monster Insights doesn't seem to be as detailed as Google Analytics. I think Monster Insights, and again, I haven't used it in a few years, Martin, but I believe it's very high level sort of data. Emily says, yep, all set up. What is Google Tags and should we be connecting them to? So Emily, Google Tag Manager is a much more advanced thing you can set up. And what Tag Manager lets you do is it lets you track and record what are called events or conversions. So, for example, I have some conversions. I'll just show you quickly. I have some conversions set up on my installation. I'll just show you. So this is the home dashboard that comes with Google Analytics, which is pretty comprehensive, to be honest. And with Google Tag Manager, Emily, what you can do is you can set up goals anytime an event triggers on your website. So, for example, if people send me a message or click the button to send me a message, that'll come through as a conversion. If people complete the form, if people click on my email, if people click on my phone number, if people click on the map, right, that'll come through as a conversion on my website. Does that make sense, Emily? So it's a little bit more advanced and a little bit more technical to set that up. But there's a lot of YouTube videos that you could find to help you with that if you wanted to get even more detail around conversion. So it can be quite useful in terms of seeing if someone's calling you, where did they come from? Where did you acquire that person from? Did they come from Facebook, Instagram, social media, Pinterest? Did they come from Google? Did they come from your emails? Gary said, I didn't have any luck swapping from the old to new Google Tag. You didn't have any luck in terms of publishing it, Gary, or you couldn't see the real time. You couldn't see the real time traffic when you were in the website. To test the website, you need to have yourself or other people on the website as well. Just remember that. Emily says, interesting. Thank you for that. No worries. Dominica says, Brett, if I have the plugin installed at WordPress and tracking code added to Shopify, will I see them both on the... Oh, okay. Or do I need two separate... will I see them both on the same dashboard on Google Analytics, or do I need two separate Google Analytics accounts? So no, it sounds like you've got, Dominica, it sounds like you've got a WordPress and a Shopify website. So you technically have two URLs. So you have two URLs. One is for WordPress and one is for Shopify. So what you can do is, they're both the same business, I presume. Dominica, are they both the same business? So what you could do is you could actually set up an additional property. So yes, Dominic is saying they're the same business. So I'm not sure why you got two domains running at the moment, but that's all right. What you can do is you can create another property within the same, sorry, I'll just go back here, within the same account, on the left here. So you've got the same account, but you want to have another property. So you create the other property that'll be another URL. And I'm not sure if that's the Shopify or the WordPress version, but you can have the two different websites sitting within. So you're saying the Shopify site was a quick solution for selling food through Lockout. Yeah, perfect. So yeah, Shopify is great for e-commerce, getting it up and running quickly. Absolutely. So yes, what you could do is, are you using, Dominica, the Shopify URL? I'll just have a sip of water. Yeah, so you can't, I think you can't have them in total, Dominica, but you can have the two different properties sitting there so you can see data for both. Absolutely. All right, so, and I think there's still a few more. Gary Stone says, I'm still on UA code, and then he says, oh, my analytics is working. So I think you're all good, Gary. Just let me know if you got any more questions. Janine Bub says, I seem to have 2 tags. Is that normal? So you have, Janine, you're saying you've got 2 tags installed on your website. It's not ideal. It's ideally you just have 1 tag, but if you know why you have 2, that'd be better. Perhaps you're using it from another Gmail account that you forgot about. Dominica is okay. Dominica says, looks like I had WordPress connected to Google Analytics. We'll create the new property for the Shopify, I'm assuming, Dominica. Yeah, that's the way I'd do it. Gary's saying you don't have views. So it's not, are you saying, Gary, it doesn't have the all website data? So yeah, you want to create that all website data view here if there's no views. So you can't see, you should be able to see just account and property. Oh, you might have, Gary, you might have the new version of Google Analytics, which is GA4, Gary. So if you've just set it up in the last 2 or 3 weeks, it's defaulting to Google Analytics 4, which doesn't have the view anymore. So that might be what's happening there. Dominica has one more question. That's fine, Dominica. Shoot it through. That's what we're here for. How do I delete the tracking code from Shopify that I just have added there? It doesn't seem to be straightforward. You should be able to, I think you'll have to overwrite it with the new property, Dominica. So when you create your property, your new property, that'll give you another code. Dominica said done view. Okay, so I think that's fixed now for Dominica. All right, so I'm going to jump back to now about what Google Analytics is. So as I was saying before, it can provide you with useful insights, and it can help you improve your business and drive better decisions in terms of where you're putting your effort into in acquiring traffic and what's working and what's not working for your website and your business. So the benefits of analytics are you can get insights that only Google can give you. It can build a complete picture around your whole website and what's working and what's not. And you can connect the insights to results, and you can make data really work for you. So some of the features are, it's got like analytics intelligence, so it'll give you insights and interpret the data for you. It'll give you like really comprehensive reporting. You can get visualizations of the data and analysis, so you can configure it to have what you need. It's a great way to manage and store the data and collect that from your website visitors. You can then use that data to make informed decisions around your marketing and around how you're getting traffic to your business. And then you can actually also quite easily integrate Google Analytics with other platforms and other Google solutions. All right, so I've got a whole heap of slides here, but I think it's actually just easier if I go through Google Analytics step by step with you to show you the different sort of sections that I use for myself and my customers within Google. So I'm just going to take you through my account and all the different settings. So on the left-hand side here, you'll see a sidebar, and it's got all the different reports. So we've got home, which will take you to this home dashboard, which I'll go through in a second. And then we've also got reports which are, and then basically this home dashboard is a summary of inside your whole Google Analytics. And then you've got more detailed reports. So we've got the real time, which we were looking at before, which is showing you people on the site now. So, you know, you might launch an email or launch a some sort of campaign, and you know it's blasting out to a lot of people, and you might want to watch the real-time report to see what people are doing and how they're interacting with your website. We've got the audience, we've got the acquisition, behavior, and then conversion reports as well in more detail, which we can click through here on the left. The other section here is the settings. So that's what we used before. Oh, you can't see the settings because my rude head's in front of it. Hang on, I'll just move my face for a second. So yeah, down the bottom left here is the settings cog. Sorry if you haven't been able to see that, and I've been talking endlessly. So that's where the settings cog is there to get into those admin settings and get that tracking code installed. All right, so let's have a look through the homepage. So what we can see here on the first chart is a rough overview of our audience. So you can see here for the last 7 days, the number of users is down 7.7%, sessions is up down 5.9%, the bounce rate's up 7%, and the average duration of how long people spent on my website is down 8%. So, but people are spending 1 minute and 14 seconds, which isn't too bad. I can, on this chart here, so what it does is it compares it to the previous period. So the last 7 days versus the 7 days before that. I can get more data by looking at the last 28 days. So I can see over the last 28 days, this is my website here, has had 1,200 visitors, and that's actually up 15% on the prior period. The bounce rate is basically, a bounced user is when they stay on your site for 0 seconds. So a bounce rate of 80% is actually pretty high. And I need to do some work on my website to make sure when people get to my site, they aren't just bouncing straight back off. So maybe my loading speed's too slow. Maybe my messaging isn't very good. Maybe my website's not appealing enough to them to stay. Although the people that do stay are staying for an average of 1 minute and 20 seconds. So the content can't be too bad. If I want more data on audience, I can click here and it's going to give me more granular information on my audience and people that are coming to my website. So I can see, you know, how many people are new users, how many people, how many pages they go to per session, how many pages per user. I can see the returning visitors. So people return only 12% of the time. Again, not very high. So I need to work about ways of improving my website. This is only the last, oh no, that is the last 30 days. I can click up here. And I can do like a longer period of time. So I could do the 22nd of Feb to maybe the 23rd of December. And then I can get some more data into my chart and I can see what that looks like over a longer period of time. I can also click this button here, compare to, and it'll compare it to the exact period previously. So if I click on apply there, I can see the data versus that period. So I can see my number of users is up 6%. What have we done here? It's almost the last 2 months versus the previous 2 months. My bounce rate is a lot higher. So people are bouncing off a lot. So if I click into bounce rate, then that'll put that into my chart up here. And we can see that the bounce rate started going really terrible around the 18th of November, it looks like. So I need to try and improve my bounce rate on my website and seeing what's going wrong there from a user perspective. And I know for a fact on my website I need to improve my loading speed, which is pretty poor at the moment. So that's audience. And what other, I just want to check what other data's in here. So in each of these, it's got an overview chart. But we can also get lots more data in here. And you can basically sort of click around on the different areas that are more interesting to you. We can also check the language, the country. So language is, a lot of it's English, which is what we're expecting. The country, so majority of traffic is coming from Australia. I'm just going to unclick compare for a second because it's still comparing the data, so it looks a bit cleaner. There we go. So 41% of users Australia, 20% India, 8% US, 6% Pakistan, and then down pretty quickly. We can also get city data. So, majority of my traffic is coming from Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, Perth, Pakistan, Lahore in Pakistan, and then falling down there. We can also see what browser. So majority of my traffic is coming through Chrome, which tells me, actually it doesn't tell me anything. It tells me a lot of people are using Chrome. 11% Safari, so that's people on an iPhone viewing my website. I can also see operating system, so 60% Windows, some Macintosh, some iOS, which is going to be phone, Android, which is going to be phone. Service provider, can't get that data. Operating system, so majority is 60% iPhone. And screen resolution, so I'm seeing that majority of people are viewing my website where we're capturing data is that 414 by 896, which is probably going to be some sort of mobile device. So you can get lots of interesting information out of this audience area here. If I jump back to my home dashboard, Melinda's asked, where is Groningen? I have no idea. So if we come back to our home dashboard here by clicking on home on the left-hand side, the next panel that we have here is our active users. So at the moment, there's nobody active on here. If I just start clicking around again, so if I just click onto the About page, hopefully that should start pulling in the data showing that I'm on the website to try and wake it up. I'm not sure why it's, oh, there we go, 1. And I'm on the About page, okay? So that's just giving you that snapshot of the real time. And then we can go through to the real-time report and we can open that up and see, get more information about who's on our website. So we can get a whole lot of different information. Here again, the overview has the high-level version, and then we can drill into, what their location is, where are people coming from. We can see what the source of the traffic was. So, the source here is direct. Direct meaning I've just gone onto the website directly. I haven't come from search. I haven't come from social media. So if I type in SEO, I think I'm ranking for SEO Australia at the moment. There it is. Okay, so if I type in SEO Australia, click on my link, and then that page opens up for SEO Australia. That data should change on the location page, hopefully in a few seconds. And you can see here, there's one person on the page and the medium is organic and the source is Google. So because I came through via Google search, it's picking me up in that area. In terms of content, it's showing you what page we're on. So, the active page is SEO Australia, how to do SEO in Australia with free tools. If you, Emily, end up setting up conversions, you can tell if people have live in real time, you can tell if people have clicked on your phone number. So if I go in here and click on the phone number, hopefully that should fire there. So I just click phone number, assuming that's working. That conversion should come through for the phone number click at some point because I clicked on the phone number, or maybe because I'm not on, because I didn't actually pick an app and click through. It's not coming through. All right, so that's like an overview of our audience and then our active users. The next bit that I think a lot of people will be interested in is how are we acquiring the users, or what's the acquisition, or where are people coming from? So Google's got this, the dashboard, and Google Analytics has this area here called like acquiring users, and it's split into 3 areas. So traffic channels, the source or the medium, and then referrals. So what I'm going to do, again, I'm going to build out the data instead of the last 7 days. Oh, sorry. The last 7 days. Actually, I'll leave it last 7 days for the moment. So if you hover over these different bars or candles, some people call them, you can see where my traffic's come from. So yesterday, for example, 3 people came from social or social media. 2 visitors came from referral. So what referral means is it's referred or clicked from another website and they've clicked through to mine. 8 have come in directly. Directly just means that they've typed in the web address, so digitaltreasury.com.au, and they've found the website. And then 55 people have come in from organic search. Okay, so most likely going to be Google. If I change this to source and median, I get different metrics. So the source, it gives you the exact data. So organic in this traffic channel isn't just Google. It does cover Bing and other search engines as well. So then if I change it to source/medium, you can see here it's saying Google organic 55. And then those referrals, it's saying one of those is actually from LinkedIn. So it's actually not picking up the LinkedIn social media, which is a bit weird. And then where else are they coming from? So yeah, mainly LinkedIn. Mainly Google organic for the last 7 days or so. Again, you can change that instead of the last 7 days. We can change that to the last 90 days, and you can get even more data. This seems to be putting the bars as a 1-week period. So then you're just getting more information around where people are coming from. So yeah, a little bit of social media, a little bit of referral traffic, but majority of my traffic's coming from SEO or from organic search. So we can click in to get even more information here in the acquisition report. So I'll open that up. If there's any questions, feel free to pump them into the chat, and I'll answer them now. All right, so acquisition. So this is showing where all the traffic's coming from. So you can see here, this is the overview page. We've got organic, direct, social, and referral. Whoa, what did I do there? Oops, I just reformatted the table. What you can actually do, you can click into organic search, and it'll give you information just about that channel only. So again, you could compare to the previous period. And so this is saying for organic traffic for my business, organic traffic is actually down 13% over that when you compare those 2-month periods. So that would tell me that I need to look at my SEO strategy because my traffic is falling. So I might need to improve that. Janine says something wrong. No visits in months, not right. I have 2 geotags. Should I start again? Janine, when you test in real time, are you able to see traffic on your website? Janine, if you want to just test in real time, like that test I showed, and jump on your website, are you getting the live traffic coming through? Because that should test if it's right. Katrina said, I get a lot in from direct. What would that be? So Katrina, that could be, have you been in your website a lot recently making changes or adding content? If you're in your website a lot, you're typically just typing in the like the URL like I did before. So if I just jump into real time again for a second. If I just type in digitaltreasury.com.au and hit enter, and if I go to the traffic sources here on the real time, it's showing that someone's come in organically, but that one there is just come in directly. So that's why, Katrina, you might have had a lot of direct traffic at the moment. So Janine, if you're seeing zero in real time and zero traffic in the past, it's telling me that it's not connecting your Google account and your website correctly at the moment. So you might need to just double check that code is in there and published live on your website. So yeah, you said maybe tags not entered. So yeah, maybe the tags aren't actually publishing live on your website correctly. Melinda said, are there any resources which can show me independently if paid ads are working for me as a traffic from a cost point of view? So Melinda, it's a little bit more advanced from today's session, but you could, Melinda, do you have an e-commerce store? So I guess you can, I don't have ads running on Digital Treasury at the moment, but you could set up, and check from the traffic source of your ads. You could set up in Google Analytics the conversions. So it'll tell. So for example, on my website, I've got phone number click. So you could check the traffic if phone number click is one of the objectives of your website. People calling you, you could actually check how many people called you that came in via Google AdWords, for example, or people that came in via Facebook ads, maybe. So, you know, are Google Analytics, Google Ads worth running? It's hard to say, but you can tell if they're working by, you know, you're just going to start noticing if the phone's ringing more, perhaps, if that's what your call to action is. But you can get actual data here from the conversion points by just monitoring Google AdWords tracking. So you can see in here under acquisition and Google Ads and campaigns, you can link your Google Ads account to your analytics. So you can start getting that data in through there. And then you can ask, you know, if you're having someone run the ads for you, you can you know, question them around how well it's working. Or if you're running it for yourself, you can get, you know, actual data that's backing up that it's working or it's not. Carla says, Melinda saying, I did not want to know if I'm in Wix updating stuff, will that show as traffic? Yes. So Melinda, if you're in Wix updating stuff, it'll most likely show as direct traffic. Maybe tags not entered, said Janine. I think that's your tags on your website. Maybe they're not publishing correctly, or maybe they're not in the right area. Melinda's saying, what you showed me has just got me thinking. That's good. Carla has said, same here, I'm wondering about Google Ads and what they're worth. Yes, everyone is wondering what Google Ads are worth. Good questions. Good chatting, everybody. All right, so that's acquisitions. Again, in the overview, you might want to drill down into your different sources to get information. You know, you might have started a social media campaign. Are you actually getting any conversions? Are you actually, you know, is it actually working? You know, is your traffic up or down? You're putting all this effort into organic social and maybe you're not getting the traffic reward. Because you want to get people onto your website to get them to buy your products or your services that you're selling. This, just jumping back to the homepage dashboard, this next panel here is the automated insights. So basically, this is Google's own analytics engine or algorithm scraping through your data from Google Analytics and giving you insights. So this particular one here is saying, you had 959 users in December 31, came back in January, which means 2.5% of your users are returning. So that's quite a low returning visitors amount. We can get more insights here on all sorts of different metrics that you might want to, you know, look through. You know, how many, they've got all these sort of basic insights on demand. How many users did I have last week? And it'll give you, you know, that information. So it can be, it's trying to basically programmatically give you like worded answers around how well or your website is performing. So, you know, understanding trends, so the bounce rate over the last 3 months, and I just click a button and it'll give me that bounce rate. So the bounce rate is quite high, so I need to really look into, you know, I think loading speed is probably the main problem I'm having at the moment. We got active users over time. So in this report here, we can get some insights on how active people are on our actual website. So this is part of the audience. You know, 1 day, 7 day, 14 day, and 28 days. You can get the lifetime value. You can get all sorts of different information. I don't find them as useful. Retention of people, so how well people are coming back, I don't find that useful. When users visit your website can be quite just interesting. So you can just observe when people are most on your website. So I find if you look at the data here, the blue is the like more potent area. Sorry, the dark navy blue are the more potent areas. So you can see like Thursday nights at 11 o'clock are really popular. After 9 o'clock, Wednesday, Thursday popular. A lot of e-commerce sites see that they're very popular sort of after 8 o'clock, maybe like after the kids have gone to dinner sort of thing. I'm quite popular in the afternoon, so maybe a lot of people are sort of looking into their marketing in the afternoons on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So this can give you insights around, you know, when's a good time to publish blog posts. It could also give you data around and help other parts of your business. So if you know your users or your type of audience is, you know, really active at night or, you know, during the afternoons, you can schedule your social media postings to go out at those times of days as well. Also your emails, so your email newsletters or your email distributions, letting people know that a new blog is available, can go out at times that you see on this area here. And again, you can, sorry, you can't drill in and get more info on that one. Sorry about that. Then another chart is like, where are your users coming from, or the location of that active audience. So you can drill down to where people are visiting you from. And as I showed you before, you can look into like the actual city that they come from as well. The next piece of information is the devices and what device people are coming through to your website from. So this is really interesting information to understand where your website needs to look good on. Majority of my clients, it's interesting, mine is actually quite high to desktop. Most of my clients, I see it's more 50 to 60% are coming through on mobile. So from that point of view, you just need to make sure that your mobile experience or your mobile website is just as good as your desktop, and it's really easy for people to find information on their phone. So just make sure that your website you've tested on your mobile, and you can see that it, you know, that it works just as well for users. So I think I just to open that up. Hang on, I'll just show you mobile overview quickly. So this was in the audience settings. Yeah, so you can see here over time, and you can just delve into the different pieces of information if you want to in the devices and get even more. So we can see, you know, if we go into device menu on the left here, we can see majority coming through an iPhone. We've got some Samsung Galaxies and some Pixels and a couple of iPad views as well. So again, it just gives us information to make sure that our website looks good on all those devices. As we scroll down the dashboard on the homepage, we can go through, we can see what pages our users visit. So we got the most popular page on my site is a page that gives you all the different places where you can guest blog around Australia. In the last 7 days, it's had 144 views. So again, this can give you information around which pages are the most popular. You know, so this page here, I know, which is I've got a digital marketing template for business. which I've got here. It actually ranks quite well for people looking for digital marketing strategy templates. But I might look at this. What this can trigger us to do is to say, all right, if a lot of people are going to this page, how can I improve this page to maybe get them to buy things for me? So I don't have any call to actions on this page, so I could maybe add in here, if you're looking for a digital marketing strategy, contact Digital Treasury today, and have a link to the contact page. And I could put that call to action throughout this blog a few more times to try and capture those people. My SEO Australia article, I could do the same thing. I could say, like, if you don't have time to implement your own SEO strategy, see what it looks like for Digital Treasury to do it for you. It can also say to us, go back and make sure, like, a lot of people are landing on my affordable SEO packages page, which is this page here. So, I should go through this and make sure that, I've got no spelling mistakes. Not that there should be any spelling mistakes on any pages, but make sure that the web page is actually serving the user, and just making some tweaks and improvements. So this page, it actually looks a bit dull. Like, there's not much. There's not many pictures, a few icons, but maybe I should add some pictures with, results of what I've got for my clients in terms of SEO improvement. So what pages do users visit? It can give us information around, what page is the most popular. And then if you click on, so that's last 7 days, last 30 days, we can get a better, last 90 days. Just gives us more data and more information about what's working well. And then if we click through into the pages report, we can then see in terms of bounce rate, which pages do well and which pages do poorly. So I can see that the SEO Australia page, the bounce rate's almost 90%. So that's probably that, and the guest blogging page are really dragging down my page. So if I can improve those pages, get people to not bounce as much off them, hopefully I can improve the bounce rate of that page, get people staying on the page longer and engaging with the content and wanting to deal with me. So you can get a breakdown in the site content of how those pages are going. And then the next part of the dashboard here is the goals. So that's like what I was explaining to Emily earlier. You need to have Tag Manager, and it's a little bit more advanced to set these up. But basically this is, and I'm not going to show you how to do that today because it is quite detailed, and it'll probably take a couple of hours to show you how to do this. But once you get more comfortable with your Google Analytics, you can set up goals, and what it'll do, it'll tell you, if somebody's clicked, if someone clicked your phone number, if someone's clicked your email link, if someone submitted your form. If you have, I mentioned in Shopify back at the start, to turn on in your Google Analytics e-commerce settings and an enhanced e-commerce, what that'll do is it'll bring in data into here around when you've sold something. So if you sell something on your Shopify website, it'll be able to tell you what the source of that traffic is. You'll be able to back solve where that person's come from. So for, who was the lady? Was it Martine who had the Shopify and the WordPress site? So you'll be able to tell where they've come from. If they've come from maybe a social media post that you've done recently, if they've come from maybe your other website, so your main WordPress website. Carla says, how do you set up the intelligence box? So do you mean the insights box, Carla? This box here that I was talking about a few minutes ago? Carla, do you just want to let me know if that's what you were talking about? So you can't see the insights on your dashboard. So if you click on home, you're not seeing the dashboard. Melinda doesn't have goals. Yeah, so Melinda, you're not going to have goals unless you've got any set up. I believe. Okay, so you don't have insights set up, Carla. When you go to the home page and the insights aren't coming through. With the insights not coming through, have you only just set up the account today? You should have a link to insights either up the top of the home. So if you're in home, up the top here, you should be able to get to insights, or you should be able to get to it here. It's prompting me, but they aren't useful. Oh. Okay, I'm sorry. Maybe it needs more data to get some more insights, Carla. I'm not sure how long you've been using analytics for. So the more data it's got to crunch, the more useful insights hopefully it'll be able to produce and send through to you. All right, so that's what I wanted to show you in terms of the website. There's one more section, and I'll just jump back to the slides. So everything I've said today, there is slides. There is slides on. I just find it's a bit easier to learn if I'm actually just sort of talking through and going through it with you. But in all the slides, it does talk about how to look through the audiences and different information you can find around. We looked at the location. We looked at the different cities. We talked about the behaviour, so people returning to your website, the bounce rates. This one also gives you behaviour. Also has the exact seconds that they stay on your website. So again, you can find different issues with your website. The technology, we talked about the desktop, mobile, and the tablet, and then I sort of showed you ways of seeing the different mobile screens. So all this information is in these slides. One thing I didn't give you, which I'll put in the link, is there's a website where you can test to see what your website looks like on the different browsers. So that's a multi-screen test. I'll just put that link in the chat right then. And what that does, it lets you, if you don't have those devices, it lets you click on the different devices to test what your website would look like. So I'll just show you quickly. So if I roll up that test, you just go to your website and paste one of your URLs. So I'll just paste in this page here, and then you can click around. So if I click on mobile, I can see what this will look like on an Apple, an Apple iPhone 6. I can see what it looks like on a Samsung Galaxy Note. Okay, so it all sort of looks okay on those devices. But you can also check tablet, so iPad. You can also check laptops and desktops and all sorts of different devices to make sure that your website's working correctly. So the other, just check on the questions. How do I set one up on the dashboard? How do you set up insights? I'm thinking it is a setting, analytics, insights not showing. So I think it might be possibly, Carla, if it's not showing up, it might be a setting in your, might be channel settings. It may be one of your property settings that's got insights turned off. You may have user metric reporting turned off in your property settings. Just checking your settings. Oh, there it is. Hang on, where is it? Google Intelligence. Yeah, so I would just check through your settings, Carla, if you're not. Oh, you do. Sorry, Carla does have insights. You just don't have the narratives that you have. I'm guessing the narratives that I'm getting are because I've got many months of data that's coming through. So it might just be a matter of waiting if you've only just set it up more recently. All right, so the next thing I wanted to show you was a really interesting section I'll just put that full screen again, of this. And what it is it's called user flow or behavior flow. I think they might have changed the name recently. And it allows you to sort of answer the question is like, how are people moving throughout my website? So, maybe they're landing from the home page, but where are they going? And what is the flow of them through my website? Where do they drop off? So typically from a user flow point of view, if you have an e-commerce website, you want them to sort of go from the home page to the product page, to the shopping cart, to the checkout, to the getting their receipt. But if they're going to the home page, the product page, and then the shopping cart, and then they're dropping off, or they're dropping off when they see shipping, you might have to sort of change the way your website works to help improve that conversion. If you had maybe like a travel website which had different sort of programs or different tours that people could go on, you sort of typically see from a user flow that they'd be, hit the home page, check out the different programs or tours, read the trip detail, then book more, and then thank you. But if they go to the program home page, then go to the programs page, and then go back to the home page, maybe your program or your tour page is confusing and it's not clear enough about what people can go through to. So you might have to think about like redesigning your program page or your tour page. If it's like a lead generation website, typically what you see is people would start at a home page, then they maybe move to your service pages. They might click on About. Definitely make sure you've got your About page filled out, and then they might go to the contact page, and then they get like a thank you sort of confirmation. But if people are going to your home page, your About page, your service page, and then a blog page, and then leaving, maybe your service page information isn't enough to sell them on your product. So you need to like think about revising your service page design. So I'll just show you quickly that area. So where is it's in behavior and then behavior flow. Okay, so it's been renamed to behavioral flow recently. All right, so we've got all the different landing pages up here. And this is basically where people started on their website. So the main page for mine is a blog on Australian guest blogging, ironically. And out of the 103 sessions, 99 of those drop off and only 4 go through to my website. But what I can do, I can click on this area here and I can highlight the traffic through that area and it'll show me where they go. So 2 people go to my contact page, which is a good sign. 1 goes to a blog and the other one goes to possibly 7 other pages. So then from that page, I can see there's 1 more. There we go there. And then from that page, they're then going to contact. So that's not too bad, but this is also showing me, highlighting to me how bad my drop-off rate is. Only 4% of people are interested. Janina said, hi, Brett, I don't, oh, hang on. This is a private message. Baby won't read that out. But she's trying to install it again. All right, so that's that area. Then we can see here the template, all the traffic drops off. So I've got a major problem on this piece of content. Every single person who visits isn't going to another page of my website. So I know loading speed is a problem, but I need to also add internal links within my content so people can find my other pages. And I need to add calls to action within the content so people can click through and click around. Okay, let's look at my home page. So 30% of my home page traffic then goes through to another page, which is good. I'd like it to be a little bit higher, and almost 70% is dropping off. I can see that if I click on, I clicked on the home page. So home page is going to be a dash. I've clicked on that and I've highlighted the traffic through here. And then I can see that of those 15 people, 3 go to contact, which is good. 4 go to the SEO service, which is good. 3 go to the blog and 5 go to other pages on my website. and then I can see they have multiple interactions after that. So it looks like if I can get people to my homepage is working relatively well. But again, we can improve it to try and get that speed better, improve it so instead of 30%, it's maybe 50% of people are going through to my web page, and it might almost it might double conversions if 50%. If I can get that to 50 or 60%, instead of 3 people contacting me, it might be 6, and that could be quite a bit over. This is only over 7 days too, so I can change this date range. Let's do the last 30 days. Give us a bit more data. So that sort of seems to be holding that number around 30%, even over a longer time period. But yeah, if I can make improvements to those pages, that can be really useful and helpful to me. Again, my SEO content is highlight traffic through here. That is showing only 6%. So again, if I can add some more internal links to that content, if I can add some calls to action to sort of entice people off that page to look at my SEO service, that's going to hopefully generate more business for me. So yeah, this behavioral flow is a really interesting part of Google Analytics that can give you a lot of insights about how people are interacting with your website and how well it is working. Okay, is there any questions so far on anything I've showed you within Google Analytics, or anything I've showed you around behavioral flow that you wanted to ask a question around? Please put it in the chat now. I've left plenty of time at the end for questions as well, but if you have any questions, feel free to jump in now. So there's another, I really feel that the home dashboard that Google Analytics comes with gives you a lot of really great data. But some of you might want to actually create your own customized dashboard that gives you an overview of data that's important to you or important to your industry or important to your website. So you can actually create your own customized dashboard. So, often you need the data in Google Analytics, but you just want, certain things presented to you. So what you can do, you can go on the left-hand sidebar to the customization section and then go to dashboards and then create a new one and just follow the sort of prompts that come up there. But it allows you to create a new snapshot of information which you want to be able to access more quickly. So you might want to, in terms of when you're customizing your dashboard, you might want to think about some metrics to start with in terms of what you want, what information you want to display. So the number of users who visit your website is definitely going to be one of them, I think. You might want to have that, and it shows that data by the different sources. So you're interested to see where they're coming from as well. You might be interested in the country. So, you might only sell in Australia. So even though, I'm getting traffic from Pakistan, but that might not be very useful to me. So I might want to create a dashboard which has a filter which only shows Australian visitors and what Australian visitors are doing. And then, you might want to have the type of browser as a filter as well. So like if they're coming through Chrome or Safari or Firefox, might be interesting to you. So a customized dashboard looks pretty similar to our other one, but the data we can put in there is more specific to what we want. So if I jump into customization and then dashboards, so I've created some test dashboards in the past, and it basically just has the information that I want. So, users that are Australian only, users by landing page only. So if I wanted to create a custom dashboard, I would just come into custom reports and click on new. And let's just call this like Brett's custom dashboard. And you might want to have a filter across every single thing. So we might want to have a filter across, source. You might want to have a filter across, what do I want? Country. So we might have, let's just put a filter on for country, has to be Australia. Australia. So we could save that. Let's not put a metric, add a metric group. Users, why not? Dimensions. Put in dimension. All right. So, Brett's custom dashboard. This isn't my one. Oh, sorry, I did the wrong thing. Oh, that was custom reports. I was wondering why it was giving me the wrong things. All right, sorry. Go into dashboards and then create a custom dashboard. They've also got a lot of Brett's custom dashboard. They've also got some, you can do a blank canvas or you can actually create ones that they've already got. So we can add in a widget here. So we can add in a map, we can add in a table, we can add a pie chart, a bar. So similar to what we're seeing on the front dashboard, we can add our own custom ones basically. So if we add in a bar chart and we could say, we could add in a metric and we're interested in bounce rate. And we could say group by, let's just not say group by anything, dimension, or we have to add a dimension. Group by page, landing page. And so then we can see the bounce rates by every page. Let's show up to 9 bars and let's save that. So then on our dashboard, we should now have the bounce rate by landing page, and we probably don't want that to be a bar chart, right? That'll probably look better as a table. So I'm going to change that to table, and then I'm going to save that again because bar chart is going to be a bit silly for that. And then landing page, Facebook click, I wonder what that is. So people coming through from Facebook. It's quite strange. Not sure why it's doing that. Page, destination page. But let's just change that from landing page to page. See if that gives us the better. I just want the URLs really. I've managed to crash custom dashboards. That was a good effort. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's showing those strange pages because that's not really useful information. Why don't we also, in the dashboards, I'll show you the ones that come with it. So I just put in BDD and I click on Starter, Create Dashboard. That'll actually have a whole stack of pre-populated widgets that'll come with it. And this is going to be a much quicker way for you to actually edit and get the data that you want in here. So this is a chart of the users, but instead of users, we might want bounce rate. We can change that to bounce rate, and then we can save that one there. And then instead of users, we've now got bounce rate in this chart. Got new users. We might want to have, instead of new users, let's change this to duration, average session duration. So then we can map how long people are spending on our time because we want to know that number quickly. All right. Martin says, do you then have access to both generic and customized dashboards? Yes. So this dashboards here are all the ones that I've created in here. So yeah, you could do both a customized one and a generic one from their library. Ashish has said, can you go back 2 slides, the good starting custom metrics? Do you mean this slide, Ashish? All right, so that's all I had for you today. I've gone through quite a lot, but I really wanted to give you like an introduction on how to get started on Google Analytics and what sort of things that you can actually get in terms of data and in terms of information. So this piece of information for your business can be quite useful to then start making decisions. So Ashish has asked for 1 slide forward. So what you can do is you can, if you're doing multiple different campaigns, for example, in terms of traffic and in terms of marketing, so you might be doing Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, you can actually map and track to see which strategy is working well, which strategy is generating visitors, which if you're able to set up conversions and Google Tag Manager, which strategy is actually getting me conversions or hitting those goals to get leads or to get phone calls or to get people submitting forms or to get people to buy products. So you can, by having this information at your fingertips, you can hopefully make better decisions in your business when it comes to your website and when it comes to traffic generation. So if you would be so kind to, I'll put the link to the survey in the chat. So if you could all fill in that, then you won't have Francisco harassing you to fill in the form. But if we've got about 20 minutes or so to ask any questions that you have. So if you have any questions about anything I said regarding Google Analytics, or if you have any questions about website or SEO or anything else, feel free to put them in the chat as well. And I'll try and answer as best I can. But thank you all for attending today. I've had some good questions and some good interaction, which makes it a lot easier for me. So thank you. Any questions, feel free to put them in the chat now. If you don't have any questions, I've just put the link in the chat to the survey. And I think, Francisco's actually got it where it says, please note as well. So you can fill in that survey. Carl says, thanks. Janine says, help. Janine, can you just confirm it's okay to do it live in front of everybody? Melinda says, so how much are your affordable SEO packages? Not that affordable, unfortunately, for most businesses. So minimum 15 hours work per month is $2,400. But we do have a smaller SEO package, which is for 3 keywords, and that is $600 per month. But it takes a lot longer to rank, and you do get 1 piece of optimized content per month and 1 link per month. So that's 600 Australian, including GST. Janine has sent me messages privately, and then she has allowed me to, in front of all of you, show you what is going on. All right, so Janine is janinebubtravel.com.au. All right, and this is her website here. And she's a luxury travel advisor. If anyone needs luxury travel advice, speak to Janine. All right, so there's reload the page. So I've got an extension, and it's called Tag Assistant. And what it does is it can tell me the different tags on your website. So if I click Enable and I click Refresh, it's going to tell me what Janine's got in her code. And it's saying no tags found, Janine. Okay, that's a bit of a worry. So this is basically saying there's no Google Analytics tags on this. So let's see what we can find. Sorry, what I did there, I wasn't talking, but if you right-click on a website and go to View Page Source, that'll take you to the code underneath your website. So what we should be seeing, so I can see you've got a Facebook pixel. And it looks like, yep, that looks okay. And then Google G tag. Yeah, so Janine, it doesn't look like you've got a Google tag here. I'm wondering, do you have the Divi theme? It looks like you got the Divi theme, Janine. So in the Divi theme, which I'm actually running at the moment, if you go to your dashboard and Divi and theme options, Janine, hopefully you're following this. So if you go to Divi and then theme options and then integrations, and then if we go back to settings, tracking info, tracking code, and it's saying copy and paste this code into the head of every page you want it on. So if you just copy that and paste that into this head area here and then click save, that hopefully should work for you, Janine. Let me know if that hasn't worked. Dominica said, in conversations, there's an e-commerce tab. It mentions something about adding a tracking code from e-commerce there. Would that be better than creating new property or two completely different things? So yes, so in e-commerce, there should be, if you have the old style of Google Analytics set up, which you should, I think you're talking about e-commerce settings, and then you should enable e-commerce. I think this is for your Shopify, right, Dominica? Then you should click enable e-commerce, and when you click save, it should pop up enhanced e-commerce, and then you should also click on enhanced e-commerce. Janine, let me know how we're going with your troubles, by the way. Feel free to type something. Donica's saying thanks. So hopefully that solves your problem. If anyone else has any questions, feel free to put them in. Janine, if you could give me an update on how you're going, that would be good. Can't find the code to copy and paste. Okay, so you need to jump back into your Google Analytics. You need to go, once you're in Google Analytics, which is, I'll just put the address for that for you. Analytics.google.com. I'll just put that in the chat. So if you go to that page with your Gmail or G Suite account that you've been using, if you click on admin down the bottom and then select your account, which you've got it set up under, select the property. And then within the property, you should be able to find tracking code. You click on tracking code and then, tracking info and then tracking code. And then you want to copy the Google Site Tag Manager here. And then that needs to go into the head area. And because you are using the Divi theme within WordPress, you can actually just paste it in Divi theme options integration and paste it in this add code to the head part of your blog. Looks like I've got two, which is a bit awkward. Oh, I've got Tag Manager, that's why. Now I remember what I did. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to put them into the chat. Can find. Did you mean can or can't find the code to copy and paste, Janine? Sorry. Any other questions? If there's no other questions, I'll wrap up. I'll give you another minute to ask any questions you might have. Give you one more minute. One more minute. All right, I'll wrap it up there. Oh, Gaze just have one more question. I have just set up an account but can't find the code either. When I do, I have to do a website. Yes, so the GA4, if you set it up via GA4, which is the new way of doing it in Create Account, you'll need to click on Web, and then I did it that way at the very start. Francisco, can you please confirm if it's being recorded? Claudia is asking if it's going to be recorded. I think it might be. Francisco has just let me know it's going to be recorded and the replay will be sent out tomorrow. So apologies for everyone who I said it won't be recorded, and it was recorded. Gay has asked, is the property ID what I want? It is if you are setting it up via one of those platforms that asks for ID. Yes. All right. Thanks, everybody. And thank you for attending today. And if you need a session with me, feel free to book in some mentoring coming up. Thanks very much.